Alright, welcome back to the channel, Bookworms and Constant Readers. Hope you all are doing well, wherever you're at. I want to give a thank you to all the new subscribers. I just checked and we are actually over 62 subscribers now. I think we're either at 62 or we have 63. Thank you so much for subscribing. Please, if you haven't subscribed and you're watching this, subscribe, hit like, helps grow the channel. My goal this year is to get 100 subscribers. But thank you all for watching. This is Final Girl Horror. I am your host, Chelsea, and today, you saw the thumbnail, it is all about part 2 of the Gwendy Peterson story by Stephen King and Richard Chizmar, Gwendy's Magic Feather. Now, I say this in all Stephen King book reviews for all the new people, in case you don't know. I was going to wait until I got caught up on Stephen King to start putting Stephen King on the channel and just started carry and go in publication order. But a lot of viewers wanted to see Stephen King. They were tired of me talking about Stephen King but not putting any of his stuff on the channel. So I started I think like right in the middle of his books. And what we do on this channel is we go in publication order unless there is like a series like The Dark Tower, which we have not got to yet, or like a sequel, The Shining and Dr. Sleep. Dr. Sleep is not on the channel yet, even though we've reached that far into his catalog. I haven't put The Shining on yet, so we skipped that. This is the same way. We did it with the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. Whenever there's a trilogy, I put the entire trilogy or series of books back to back, and then we go back and pick up the other stuff that was skipped. This is no different. Now, you're probably expecting like a Dresden video or something like that, but the thing is, with these Gwendy books, they're so small, I figured I would just do all three and then go back to the regular format of like a Stephen King and something else, Stephen King, something else. So, as always, you know I love my book covers. I say it every book video. You can totally judge a book by its cover. I have found some amazing books that had amazing covers. I found fewer that have had really great covers but terrible books. So let's look at the covers. Let's start with the hardback first edition. This is what it looked like. It's a very cool cover. It's got Mr. Ferris on the cover. You got the feather, the magic feather, the flaps inside, nothing really big there. And then the book itself, it's just when you take off the dust jacket, it also has foil embossing on it. Very cool. The hardback, easily a 5 out of 5. I love this cover. If I saw this in the store, I would probably buy it because of the cover, if I didn't know anything about it. The paperback, they went a little bit simpler. Still has Mr. Ferris on the cover. It still has the white feather, but it's pretty basic and kind of boring. This one I give like a 3 out of 5. So, what's the book about? Well, I will read the synopsis, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Something evil has swept into the small Maine town of Castle Rock on the heels of the latest winter storm. Sheriff Norris Ridgwick and his team are desperately searching for two missing girls. But time is running out. In Washington, D.C., 37-year-old Gwendy Peterson couldn't be more different from the self-conscious teenage girl who had once been entrusted, or cursed, with an extraordinary and powerful box covered with colorful buttons by a mysterious stranger dressed in black. One day, though, the button suddenly reappears without explanation. Between this and the troubling disappearances back home, Gwendy decides she might be able to do something to help. Prepare to return to Stephen King's Castle Rock, the sleepy little town built on a bedrock of deep, dark secrets, and it's about to awaken from its quiet slumber once more. So this is the only book in the trilogy that is not written by Stephen King. The first and the third are written by both authors. And this synopsis does a pretty good job at describing what this book is about. We take like I think it's a 15-year time jump in the story. The first one ends with Mr. Ferris showing up, taking the box back. This time, Gwendy is married. She is a congresswoman. She's graduated college. She's also a famous writer. And one day after committee meetings, she returns to her office in the Capitol, and the magic box has mysteriously shown up again. There's no explanation why it's there. Mr. Ferris is nowhere around to explain it. And they're getting ready, Congress is getting ready to break for the winter. And she's going back home to Castle Rock for Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, all that. Her husband is I think he's a reporter, and he is stuck overseas and can't make it back. So she has to go through this all alone. And when she gets back home, she learns about these girls who they keep coming up missing. And so you have like two different stories going on. You have the story of the serial killer who's killing these girls, and then you have the button box problem. Once again, it's, she has to protect it. She can't tell anybody about it. In this book, she seriously thinks about telling her husband about it. And she really has to fight that urge because she knows the consequences of if other people found out about this box, what could happen. There's a lot that goes on in such a little book. So the things I liked about this book, you can tell that Stephen King is not writing it. That you're in Stephen King's universe, but it's a different voice than Stephen King. And it's not a bad thing. Richard Chizmar does a really good job of putting you in Stephen King's world and telling a story in that world. And to me, that's a good thing because Stephen King is getting old, let's be honest. He's not going to be around forever. And when he's gone, you have his son who is just as good of a writer as he is, Joe Hill, who could write stories set in his dad's universe. Another author that comes to mind that Stephen King has worked with in the past is Peter Straub. They did The Talisman and they did Black House together. And those were two books where you really couldn't tell who was writing what. And reading the first book, you couldn't tell who was writing what. And I'm about a quarter of a way into the third book already. And both of them are co-writing, and you can't tell who's writing what in that book. But with this book, you could tell that it wasn't Stephen King. It's hard to explain. It's just, when it's not Stephen King writing. But it has that Stephen King feel, which makes it okay. I kind of think of it like the new Tom Clancy novels. Tom Clancy's been dead for years, but they keep putting out Tom Clancy novels. And there are other writers who are writing in Tom Clancy's world. And they are really good books. And Stephen King has created this multiverse that is kind of like this living, breathing thing that doesn't have to die when he dies. It could go on with other writers if the King family allowed it. And I think that's what this book proves the most. As far as the title goes, Gwendy's Magic Feather. I really don't get the title because this magic feather plays such a small part in the book that it's really weird that the title focuses on it. You learn what the magic feather is. You learn how Gwendy got this feather as a kid and why it's called the magic feather. But beyond that, it's kind of like a blurb in a much bigger story. There's a lot of cool things that happen in this story, and things that you would think are going to happen don't happen. Like, Gwendy does not use the magic button box to solve the case of these missing girls. But she does play a hand in solving the case and helping the sheriff figure out what is going on. All in all, I give this one a solid 5 out of 5. I know a lot of people don't like this book. I actually did like it because you see how a little girl with this powerful button box reacts to it versus a woman who is in her 30s reacts to it, and how the importance of what this box can do affects a younger person versus an older person. Like, Gwendy knows, like, being a congresswoman, what this box could do in the hands of the wrong person. And she even has thoughts of her own because she dislikes certain things that are going on in the world. And she remembers, the red button, and pushing the red button, well, whatever she envisions will happen. If she wants to kill the current president that she doesn't like, she can do that by pushing the red button. If she, gets angry and loses control of her emotions, she can push the red button and things will happen to whoever she has pictured in her head. She's done this in the past. But this time around, it seems like the draw of the box is stronger, and she tries to limit her interaction with the box, because this time the box feels different. It doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. And so she hides it and kind of stays away from it. And then at the end, Mr. Ferris does show back up, and he explains, why he dropped the box off to her. And she only has it for a short time, and it's taken back. Really cool book. It's really neat to see another author write in Stephen King's universe. If you read the Gwendy trilogy, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I'm really enjoying it. The third book is really interesting so far. I just started it a few days ago, and it's a page turner. You just want to find out what's going to happen next. Love it. Couldn't recommend it enough. Really cool, fun, short reads. The Gwendy Peterson trilogy. This is book 2, Gwendy's Magic Feather. That's all I have for you today. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Trying to get to 100 subscribers this year. Once I get to 100 subscribers, I actually get a real email, web address for the channel that I can promote. And it's not just a bunch of random characters. It'll actually be finalgirlhorror.com. Makes it much easier to grow the channel. That's the goal for this year. Once I hit 100, then we're gonna really push for 1,000 subscribers. Hit the bell symbol so you know when new videos come out. My videos come out every other Saturday at 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. Till next time, read more books.